Greetings and Godless. So I'm just testing this out. Hopefully, my audio works. And I wanted to talk about so people nowadays, of course, we've been brainwashed and indoctrinated to, hate Christianity, hate Jesus, distrust God, and be clueless about the Bible. And as a result, we don't have a strong relationship with God, Jesus, and we don't get the information and guidance that God gives us in the Bible. And of course, the right Bible, which is the King James Bible. It's the only authorized by a king Bible that we have. And then add to what happened with the lockdowns. So the psychological trauma that terrorizing people and isolating people and then injecting questionable things into people, forcing them to breathe in their body waste. Everybody's kind of insane right now. Everybody's just because 96 psychiatrists have um, disclosed that 96% of people had a psychiatric reaction within 7 days of their injection. And these people got multiples. They got boosters and more, and multiple cryptform breaking of their blood-brain barrier. And it's amazing what trauma the body can endure. But while the body is still functioning, people's minds and their emotions and their spirit are like shells of themselves. And I'm finding this, because I'm a pedestrian, so I take the bus and I'm walking on the sidewalk, and so I'm dealing with aggressive drivers and, also just dealing with interacting with professionals, supposed professionals, but there's this, even before the lockdowns, I would say, like, there's this, like, career women can be really competitive and kind of just so malicious. And I've heard this in a talk I was listening to, like a training about how to navigate politics. And the speaker was saying that women don't want to work for other women. And I was seeing this person, this healer, and she was saying that Margaret Thatcher is totally crushes other women. She did not help other women. Now, I don't know if Margaret Thatcher is actually a biological woman, but that is something I noticed is women are so mean. And it's like, especially if you're not working for them, if you're not paying them to provide a certification, if you're not kissing up to them, they're like out to get you. Even you have no association, no investment in them, but they want you to treat them like the boss or something like that. That's what I've been noticing. What do we do? How do we handle this? And so this requires a lot of big picture thinking. Like, we have to understand. So women are demonized. They've got the Jezebel spirit. They're like, I'm the boss. And this is the horrible outgrowth of feminism, which is just some other form of patriarchy, and it hasn't benefited women. It's overburdened women who are not clearly just they're not capable. They're not handling it well, and they cope and they know how to hide their flaws and stuff like that. But all the like right now, everybody's like, self-care, I gotta do self-care, model self-care. And, the fact that it has to be like the thing that a woman is talking about, a professional woman is talking about, I think is telling, because men aren't like, I need self-care, blah, blah, blah. I mean, of course, men need self-care, but they are genetically, chromosomally blessed. Like, they are there to be the actor, the action person. The mother is supposed to be nurturing, make the home, and facilitate things with the kids and the relationship with between the dad. And unfortunately, like Eve was seduced by Satan, women in the 60s were seduced by this notion that somehow break away from everything and things are going to be good. And I mean, I remember seeing memes. I don't know, it was like the 2018 or whatever. What we're told feminism was, this great life. And in the end, what a feminist is she's living alone, drinking a bunch of wine with 5 cats. Like that's, and now it's even worse. Like now the feminist is like thinks she's a man and who knows what's happened to her biology and and is like trying to force little kids to get sex change operations and groom them for sex trafficking, because that's what the left is doing. Like that's what school teachers are doing, that's what libraries are doing, that's what city councils are doing, that's what school boards are doing. And it's weird. It's like they're so twisted because they don't want to see the obscenity, they don't want to see what they're doing to the children, but they want to make sure that the children are being victimized by this pedo agenda. And this is my observation. This is not the declaration of this platform. This is just what I have been observing nationally, looking at the news, observing, going actually to city council stuff and hearing state representatives talk about strange body cavity search options in contracts that parents sign for teachers so that teachers can do body cavity searches of children, of little children. Like why would this, what is this about? And of course medicine is involved, doctors and hospitals that want the new growth industry of sex change operations because it makes a lifetime patient. And this is a fad, and people are so easily manipulated now that they're like, oh, the solution is the sex change operation and these hormones. And oh, wow, look, all these people love me because I want a sex change. Because you want a sex change, or you think you do. They love you because you're reinforcing an ideology that's totally without any foundation. It's totally a morally bankrupt ideology. So that's what the leftists and then the medicine folks are just like, you might as well have like cancer. They love the cancer patient. They love the patient who will come in and take those injections and get cut up and get that radiation. Of course, medicine loves those people because that's whose insurance is paying for the life to which medicine has become accustomed. And I know, yes, I know they're nice people. I know the nicest doctors, nurses, techs. Oh yeah, they're also great. And just look at all the medically assisted executions. Like when is that audit going to be done about the medically assisted executions that occurred? So anyways, yeah, we have to keep sorry about my distraction here. So we have to keep the big, what incredible psychological operations I think that's been experienced before. I don't know if like, so I'm up on the mud flood Tartarian thing where it seems like adults were wiped out in previous resets. And for some reason, even though they tell us that there's too many humans, for some reason they're not wiping out the adults. And yet the leftists, the globalists want the children. Like Satan always wants the children. When Moses said, "Let my people go to Pharaoh," Pharaoh's like, "Go, but leave your children," because they want to rape them and they want to desecrate them and they want to turn them into reprobates. And it's interesting because the perverted leftist globalists, they don't procreate. Like they need the procreation of a Christian. they need the procreation of a conservative because the conservative and the Christian do enough things that they can give birth. They have all these godly components that make it possible for them to be fertile and for them to bring a child healthily to term. Like the leftists are probably, aborting them and eating their flesh and harvesting their stem cells and doing all sorts of things because the left is demonized. And I have friends who are leftists and liberals, and I used to be a liberal myself. And of course, my friends don't realize what's going on. They refuse to. They refuse to look into it, and because they've been church hurt, and as a result of the satanic influences in churches, like these people are like, I'll never trust God. I'll never trust Christianity because of what evil people at evil churches have done to these leftists who are they're so committed to anti-God, or at least anti-Christianity. They're like, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So even though they don't believe in Satan, they're like, anything that's not God is got to be good for me, and they're wrong, and it's really hard to get people to change their minds. But back to when, like, almost 100 as a result of what happened the past few years and all the new crises, the burning of inner cities down and blaming white people, that it's them, that's their fault. Although I do think the deep state, and I think a lot of them are Caucasian, and I think they did engineer these episodes, these national crises of things burning down. But the media, the narrative saying that Caucasians are a cancer on the planet, and then humans are a cancer on the planet, and you shouldn't have um, fireplaces or fire burning stoves or uh, and it's weird because it's like, you got to reduce your carbon footprint, but have babies so we can make them trans and gay. It's so diabolical. And then the whole Ukraine thing, and then now the whole Middle East thing, and every time a new traumatic scenario is piped down the line, and it's not just the left. I mean, it's the right's trying to keep us informed, and just even being informed is traumatizing. So even if you're not buying into the left, you're observing the crimes against humanity that's been perpetuated by your friends, your family, your neighbors, the trusted agents of the public good, and it's a lot to carry and to be aware of. And I think that's when we go, again, we have to turn to God and just be like, I can't handle this, God. You got to figure this out. And at least for me, like, I see people say, oh, and I turned to God and everything was fine. Everything, it works out, blah, blah, blah. And I wouldn't say that that happens for me. I mean, I'm able to basically exist. And, some people may look at my situation and they're like, well, you're not, living in a big house and have all these, stereotypically successful indicators. And, I don't understand that and why things are, other than God is trying to either teach me something or teach those around me something. And all I can do is try to do my best. And it's not that great, and God knew that we human beings were fallible and weak. And scripture says, in our weakness, in our human weakness, is God's strength. So I just am trusting in that. But so, when we turn to God, it's not going to be like, oh, and everything's fine. We just have to keep trusting God, and it might be a mess even after we've, like, God, you take care of this. But it is really challenging, and I guess that's also So not only prayer, but having fellowship and maybe having people pray for you. So, and this is just a good reminder to me to ask for prayer from folks. So, what other things have I missed? And how are you guys handling being around psychotic people? And like everybody needs to be like in a mental institution, it seems to me. And yet they know how to play the game. Like so they're able to somehow make it through the day and they're taking their trips to Europe or Bali or whatever and they're building their new addition to their house or something like that, or their second home or whatever. And it's amazing. It's miraculous. It's by the grace of God. Um, so, or maybe they're in cahoots with Satan, and so that's why they're flourishing right now. But yeah, so I think we just gotta manage our nervous system and our mind, and it's a lot of work. It requires a lot of focus and devotion. So please, if I've missed anything, comment below. God bless. Thank you.